Okay. Good evening again, everybody. Welcome. My name is B.H. Khan, and tonight I'm going to share with you something that will be very interesting, as well as something that you will look forward to. Before I start, let me just ask you, how many of you in this forum actually have young children or baby? If any of you have that, can you just give me a C? Do I see any? Oh, yeah. Okay, for those of you who are parents with young children, as well as babies, toddlers that are growing up, I believe you all have this same desire. Okay, now every parent's desire is just this. Like all of you, I was the same. Is of course we would like to see our children excel in school and of course obtain good grades in their exam results. And then later, of course, we will hope that our children will grow up, do well in the studies, and then go into universities, graduate from universities, and of course, secure good jobs. And later, of course, in their life, become very successful in their career as well as in all the things in their lives. And I believe each and every one of us parents desire for this. But before I go into it, let me remind parents regarding our children. Be reminded, parents, that not all children are born with the same level of intelligence. We must remember that, okay? So not everyone is born equal. Just remember that, okay? Because there are a lot of heartaches and children being heartsick because of the inequality or the high expectation that parents have on them. And I believe you have also seen in some countries, where children or young teenagers committing suicide because they just cannot live up to the parents' expectation. So always remember, these parents, your children, even though they are all your children, they are different in terms of their intelligence level, in terms of their smartness. We must accept that, because if we don't accept that, we are going to be torturing our children. So don't keep asking and comparing your children. Why can't you be like your sister, or why can't you be like your brother? All right. As long as they've done their best, you got to accept their level. And based on that, let's have a look at factors that actually influence our child's intelligence. All right. So let's have a look at that. Of course, the factors that influence a child's intelligence, basically there are two main ones. The first one, of course, is our genes. Now, our genes contribute 50% to our children's intelligence. All right. So based on that, ladies and gentlemen, friends and parents, don't keep calling your child or your children stupid, because remember, you contribute 50% to that. All right. And of course, the other one is the environment. That contributes 50%. So the first 50%, there's nothing much we can do about. This is what, to me, I say is God-given, all right? And God give accordingly. And that's why we have people with different levels of intelligence, different skills, and different abilities. So we must always bear that in mind. So the first 50%, we can't do much about it because it's what we are given. But the next 50% is something that we can do. We can do something about, and let's have a look at that. What is it that the next 50% contributes to the child's intelligence? The first one, of course, prenatal influence. What do you mean by prenatal influence? It simply means that when your child is being developed in the womb, and that is the beginning part where the brain development occurs. And this is a very important phase that we have to be well aware and we have to look into. And this is where a mother's health, her nutrition, her environmental exposure, and her emotional well-being is very important, because that influences the development of the fetal brain. So pregnant mother, you have to look into this. You got to make sure your health is at optimum level. You are having the right nutrition. Okay, be very careful of your environmental exposure, where you are, and of course your emotional well-being. So all this affects the development of your child's brain, your baby's brain. And what's the next one? Let's have a look at it. The next one, as a child grows up, her mental development and brain development is also related to the activities and the physical environment that she or she is in. So as you can see, brain development requires proper stimulation, okay? And you notice, according to research, they find that smarter children actually come from homes that provide greater opportunity to explore and play. So exploring and playing, this opportunity to do that is very important for the child's mental development, okay, for his intelligence level. And activities, let's have a look at activities as these stimulate the brain developments are such. So these are some of them. There are a lot, but I just put some of them there. The first one, of course, is very good to inculcate reading habit into your children. All right, and this makes a lot of difference. I mean, if your child likes to read, it will really stimulate their mind, And one very good example that I can give is both my daughters. I mean, yeah, they love to read. And how we inculcate that is that every time we bring them to the shopping center, we will never fail to take them to the bookshop. And that's how we inculcate the reading habit. And the second one, of course, playing games. I mean, children like to play games. I mean, even adults like to play games as well, So it's good that we give games to them, we provide them with games that actually stimulate their thinking and also stimulate their creativity. And there are a lot of games out there that has this capability, okay? So it's for you to look out for them. And the other thing is, of course, it's very good to expose to our children to different environments. And these different environments actually, because you must be aware that as a child grow up, even as a toddler, they are already observing things. Okay, they observe what the parents do, they observe the environment and all that. And so it's good for us to provide them different environment, expose them to different environments so that they can get accustomed to, or they can get exposed to, and they will know how to absorb the things that goes into their mind. All right. And the fourth one, of course, this one is very important. They must have interactions with other children. Okay. Now, interaction with other children actually helps them to develop their social intelligence. And this is very important. All right. And at the same time, it's also good to interact, and let them interact with adults also. And this I want to share because my personal experience, when I was small, my parents actually subscribed to this: children must be heard, not heard and not seen. That means, what it means that whenever there's a guest that comes to our house, our parents will chase us into the room. We are not to be seen by guests. And I don't know where they got this idea from, but from there, actually, we become very afraid and very fearful of adults. And in somehow or other, it's actually affected my confidence level. And whenever I see adults, I feel fearful. I don't know how to interact with them. I don't know how to react to them. And it took me a long time to get over this. So these are some of the things that actually activities that help the child to develop their mental capacity. All right. And what's the next one? You'll be very surprised. Music, right? It is very good to expose your children to music, and you'll be very surprised because one of the astounding findings of early brain enrichment is the effect of music. And I'm glad that I sent my children to piano classes. Even you need to expose your children to music, and to send them to piano. Sometimes I last time when I went, my daughter, especially my second daughter, she's not interested in piano at all. I mean, but we still send them. After a while, I was thinking to myself, why am I wasting my time sending my children to music school when they are not interested? But now I realize, because music, especially piano, help them to develop their spatial intelligence. And what is spatial intelligence? As written down there, it is the ability of a person to visualize space, shapes, and objects in their mind. Okay, and this is particularly important to people who wants to be architects and engineers. It's so obvious. I mean, you know, architects design things, and engineer also design things. I mean, you know, so one way for you to design is you must always be able to visualize the thing that you want to design in your mind first. And music helps you to develop this spatial ability and spatial intelligence, right? And of course, the next thing, of course, is the role of the parents directly, the parent or caregiver style, all right? As it says here, psychologists have actually unraveled links between a child's intellectual success and a parent's nurturing, responsiveness, and involvement. So there's three things that a parent needs to do. You need to nurture, you need to be responsive, and you need to be involved with your children. Now, nurturing, what is nurturing? Nurturing is both physically and emotionally, okay? It simply means that especially babies, they need to experience physical contact, and they need you to show affection, and of course they need you to feedback positively to them, you know. So if you are able to do that to your babies, you can help them to develop their cognitive intelligence. Okay, and what is cognitive intelligence? Cognitive intelligence is simply the ability to understand things faster. That's the cognitive intelligence. All right. So this helps in school. When the child grows up and goes to school, when the teacher is teaching, if you have this intelligence, you're able to understand what the teacher teaches you very fast. You're able to grasp it, and that helps a lot. All right. Second one is, of course, responsive caregiving. Responsive caregiving simply means you need to interact. You need to what you call that, converse with your children. And whenever your children talk to you, you need to actually have a conversation to them, respond to them, and the conversation must always be a two-way conversation. Now, I grew up in an environment where the conversation is one way, okay? That is my parents telling me what to do, and if I reply back, I will get spanking. So it is no two-way, you know? I cannot question why. Why should I do this? Okay, because if I were to question why should I do this, I'll get two times left. So the environment is in my childhood is do as you're told, don't question. Okay, so in this case, it will affect especially our emotional well-being, also our confidence level. Okay, and it's also our self-esteem. This is very something that's very important. All right. And finally, of course, as parents, you must be involved with your children. You must spend time with your children, okay? Studies have found a relationship between a child's IQ and the amount of quality spent in shared activities with the parents. So these are the 4 environmental factors that affects the child intelligence. Of course, there's one more which actually affects us is what we can do is, of course, the final one is the nutrition, a child's nutrition. And research has shown that a balanced nutrient intake will have a direct effect on the academic performance of a child. Okay, they notice that there is an improvement in academic performance once proper nutrition is achieved. So nutrition is equally as important, and this is where we come in. All right. So from there, let's us have a look at what are the Shaklee products that is helpful for excellent achievements. So let's go together and have a look at it. Of course, the first one is none other than our ESP, or soy protein isolate powder. Okay. Now, soy protein, as you all know, protein is very important because protein is the building block of everything that is in our body. Okay, our cells, our organs, and our tissues, and even our what do you call that, immune system and all that. See? So one of the things that protein is helpful in terms of this is, of course, it helps to boost energy. And our protein is called energizing protein. So it provides energy, right? And at the same time, it also helps to improve our memory. And for a child, the ability to memorize is very important, especially when they go to school. Okay, and of course, it also helps to develop. Protein is very important to develop brain cells as well. All right, and at the same time, as growing kids, it helps us. When you have energy, you have the ability to think clearly. You have the ability to concentrate, and of course, your learning power increase. And this is how protein can help you. All right, so remember that. If you can't remember anything, it's just that protein helps a child to think clearly. It helps a child to concentrate in school and thereby improve their learning capacity. These are the things, three things that main thing. If you want to remember, these are the three things that protein helps. Okay. The next one, of course, is milkshake. And how does milkshake help? Milkshake is basically, I would say, it is a multivitamin in a powder form. All right. So it provides the 19 essential vitamins and minerals, which is a fundamental nutrients that for kids, for growing kids. Okay, it provides all the essential nutrients, everything within this. So it's good for us to provide all the necessary nutrients that our kids require. And this is one way because it is in the powder form and it is very tasty. So most children loves it. So it is an easy way to give it to our kids. Now, the other two more vitamins that I would like to recommend, besides is not here, but it's also equally good, okay? And it's also a multivitamin, is the adult Vitally and the Vitally chewable. If your children can swallow, it is good to give them that. So this provides the essential nutrients for your kids, right? And of course, the next one, which is very important, is B complex, right? And B complex, of course, we all know B vitamins is for energy. I mean, it's for memory, it's for growth, it's to reduce stress, of course, because as a child, school-going child, even though we don't think our children has stress, we always think that only adults have stress, but children have stress as they go to school as well. Okay, because of the what do you call that? The requirement to have good results. I mean, peer pressure and all those kind of things. So our B vitamins contains the 8 essential B vitamins that help to turn carbohydrates into energy, thereby improve tiredness and fatigue. Okay, so if you have energy and you're not always tired, of course you can concentrate better in school. All right, and also B vitamins help to improve your memory. And that is very important for a learning child who goes to school. Yeah. And the next one is, of course, we all know this omega-3 fatty acids, okay, which is very important for brain development because it's already confirmed that the DHA in the omega is very helpful for a child to develop his or her brain. So, and another thing that omega is good for is, of course, is anti-inflammatory. So it reduces inflammation in your body, which contribute to health issues and all that, right? So it's also important for eye function. So this, the main function of omega, mainly for child, is brain development. Okay, and that's why you've seen other products in other and advertised elsewhere also talk about DHA for child's brain development. Okay, and the difference, of course, our omega is safe. Okay, it's very safe, and it is bioavailable. That means when you take it, it will be available to be used in your body. So just remember that. And the next one, of course, also very well known, is lecithin. And we all know, most people know lecithin as a fat emulsifier. But another very important function of lecithin, because it contains choline, which is a good transmitter for the nerves, all right? And because of that, lecithin is very essential in helping us to improve our memory. So lecithin is very good for that in a child. And a child that needs to remember things, they need to study a lot of subjects and have the ability to actually remember and memorize them. And lecithin will help a lot, okay? And of course, the next one is nutriferon. Now, why is nutriferon important to a child? Now, as a child, as a baby grows up, okay, normally we know that the immune system of a baby is actually at a very minimal level, all right? And as a child grows up, he or she, because of the low immune system, and especially when they go to school and they mix with all other kinds of people, we don't know what sort of diseases or what kind of sickness they have, it's very easy for the child to contract whatever sickness or diseases that is there in the environment, all right? So an optimum immune system, it will be very vital for a child in order that the child doesn't fall sick so often. And because the child falls sick so often, he will be missing schools and lessons, all right? So Nutriferon is something which is actually formulated to boost the immune system particularly. So it is very important that the child has that, okay? A good immune system. And of course, performance, the last one. Why performance? You know, sometimes children, they love to go out there and play and play and play, then they always forget to drink fluids or liquid, and because of that, they tend to get dehydrated. And dehydration, if it's not taken care of, it can be dangerous. So performance drink is very important because performance drinks ensures that your child is constantly hydrated and has all the ions and the fluids and electrolytes there, because a dehydrated child is also will be having energy depletion, okay, will not be able to concentrate well in school, right, and thereby his or her performance in the exams or in the school, in the academic or whatever, will be adversely affected, right? So it's important that we keep our child hydrated, and performance is the best. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, those were all the products that is actually, now we have many other products. It's best they can take all of it, but this particular range of products are especially important and helpful towards helping the child to have excellent achievements, okay, by developing their mental capacity and developing their brain and in the intelligence level. All right. So now there are many products out there in the market. Why should you choose Shaklee? And I'm going to share with you the Shaklee difference, of course. The Shaklee difference, as you were to look at the slide, it says always safe, always work, always green. Again, I like to emphasize on the word always. Okay. Now this word always is, and that's the reason why Shaklee chose it. And for someone to choose the word always, they have to be really, really, really confident of their product and really positively sure that their product works and the product is safe and the product is green. Because the word always means not all the time, not even one single time that it doesn't work. That means all the time it works. All right. So because of that, you can be assured that when you take Shaklee product, you don't have to worry at all. You know that it works in the body. And simply because there are so many tests that has been done on the product, so many tests on the raw material, okay? And even before the product is formulated, it has undergone a lot of research and all that. So that is the reason why, for me, Shaklee is the choice. It should be the choice. Not only that, but they've also done something more than that. And they have done the landmark study. And what is a landmark study? The landmark study is simply a study that is done by a third-party researcher, all right, to actually compare the difference between three groups of people. First, you have the people who do not believe in consuming supplement. Secondly, you have the people who consume other brands of supplements. And thirdly, you have people who consume Shaklee products. And these people are people who have been doing that for the last 20 years and above. And the reason why Shaklee was chosen as the subject, because Shaklee is the only company where it has its consumer who has consumed Shaklee product for at least 20 years or more. Because it's very difficult to find another company where you have one person that's consuming that company's product for 20 years and above. And that itself speaks volume of Shaklee's effectiveness. All right. And of course, the result is very amazing. It's all there. I'm not going to go through it, but I just want to go through this very quickly. It simply shows that at the end, it says that people who consume Shaklee product for 20 years or more, they notice that they 83% actually take little or no medication at all. Okay, take little or no medication. Simply, what does that mean? Take little or no medication on them. Simply means they are hardly sick. Okay, and of course, their their health is much better. Okay, this is saying already, and of course, they have lower risk of dementia. People who take Shaklee products regularly for 20 years are generally much smarter. They have lower risk of dementia. That means they can remember things much better than other people. Now, the lower risk of dementia is actually dementia is linked to inflammation of the brain. It simply means Shaklee product is very effective at controlling inflammation. And that's how we have a lower risk of dementia. Overall, our metabolic health is good, which means that generally more Shaklee people maintain a good weight. Okay, they are not overweight, they are not obese. Of course, they are generally healthier. Very few have heart problem. And of course, our C-reactive protein level is much healthier than other people, simply means that their chances of getting cancer is less because of lower inflammation. So these are the general roundup, ladies and gentlemen, of the difference between Shaklee and other companies. All right. So I would like to end by saying this: a healthy foundation leads to a lifetime of better health, which means that the foundation is very important. So our health, actually, the foundation for our health begins at when we are a baby, you know. And some of the people today, because of course, I wasn't one of those who have an opportunity to have access to Shaklee product as a baby, but my two children have. All right. So from now onwards, from today onwards, a lot of babies will have this opportunity. And what we need to do is just to go out and share to as many parents out there as possible, all right, that if they want the children to excel in their achievement, is to tell them to begin, especially in the area of nutrition, at the baby's level, at the baby's phase. Okay, with that, all the best to all of you, and I shall pass the session back to Nopisha.